Standards are boundaries, and when our internal cueing or discernment is off, these boundaries have usually been compromised, and our task for this lesson is to figure out where. Welcome in. You now have your success style, and you should know what conditions you need to be successful. What I know about successful people is that they keep commitments. Standards that you commit to are your boundaries. Your boundaries are non negotiables for you. When we know what our boundaries are, it's easier to spot intrusions. We can commit to a lot of things. These commitments can be standards that create boundaries in the physical, the emotional, and the metaphysical. So, to be a sovereign decision maker, we need to identify what you're going to commit to, what standards are you going to commit to create these boundaries that are going to reinforce your success style so that you can be more successful. When we know where the boundaries are, it's easier to spot intrusions or escapes. In the case of energy, this would be absorbing other people's energy or energy leaks. So that's what we're going to get to here in this lesson. So because these leaks or intrusions can come from identifiable sources, we're going to conduct an empathic survey to start tracking down where these specific issues are for you. We are moving away from the old doctrine of I think, therefore I am, and into a more sovereign doctrine of I think, therefore I choose. This shift is a shift into sovereignty. It's going to be an energetic shift or a change of identity. When we start to look at identity, we have to understand the concept of essence and personality a little bit further. Your essence is your soul potential. It's this state of being that is always available to you. And then our personality are these oh, these adaptive layers, this sort of cushion that we put in between our true selves and everyday situations, maybe to not get hurt, maybe to not be so vulnerable, but these things are our personalities. We might even have a few different personalities that we put on depending on the people or the situation around us. Everyone has an essence and personality. What we need to understand is, are these personalities really serving you and your success of where you want to go? So, because everyone has both, we've already touched on, this is also why you feel like you know someone before you know them. This is one of the first and I think more common sources of information that your empathy is allowing you to access. So when we look at this essence as an information source that you can pick up on, what we need to understand is it supporting you. We're going to do this through examining other people's essence through situations that you've been through, as well as taking a look at your own essence and identifying where we might have unserving or limiting personalities. We need to make sure that we're really clear here. The essence is somebody's true soul level potential, the honest energy of who they are and who they can really be. This is the part of their energy in a situation that your empathy is allowing you to access. This gets called intuition, but what is intuition? It's the ability to pick up on subtle energies. Because you're an empath, you feel deeply. Intuition is about a felt knowing. You have no factual, tangible, in your hands evidence. This is the information that shows up within those first milliseconds for you. It's what your intuition picks up on first, but it's the empathic ability that is allowing you to feel these subtleties and information. So personality is that adaptive layer, that cushion between us and life that helps us stay less vulnerable. It's a protective layer usually. Personality is something that we would use to be more accepted in the group setting, and typically would be something that we use for our benefit. What we really want to be sure is that these personalities of how we speak and act isn't overriding this essence of our real authentic soul level potential. When essence and personality do not match, there's an internal friction. When essence and personality don't match about someone in the room, for an empath, there can be confusion about how to interact with them. With my restaurant example, I was responding to his essence. I was over responding to his essence and wasn't valuing enough about his personality, the behaviors he was exhibiting and willing to show up as. So, this is a point of drain that we really want to pay attention to here, because your empathy of feeling for someone isn't just an ability to internalize emotions. You're actually picking up on their energetic states of who they are and how they're feeling in that moment. So, in my example for this lesson, I overrode my personal boundaries by over responding to his essence. My boundaries should have been non negotiable, but I didn't know the source of this energy that I was picking up on and how to consider it within the context of how he was showing up within a personality for that evening, at least. So, we're going to walk through how to work with this a little bit more, because it's a really common everyday scenario that you're going to run into as an empath. Your empathy makes you really powerful because intuition doesn't speak through words, it speaks through energy. So, because you can feel so deeply and you can feel subtle things, your intuition about situations and people is stronger. So, when it comes to people, this energy is essence. Remember, you're processing your feeling first. This is the unconscious space, and then a little bit into the subconscious. This is all happening within those milliseconds and 3-second time frames we've already discussed. So you're feeling the essence first. This is your natural ability, but it really is a superpower. When we leave this empathy untrained and don't connect it with the energetic sources, this can be a really big source of energetic drain or a point of confusion that's going to leave you second guessing yourself. But with training and the awareness that we can process somebody's essence, personality, the story that they're telling us, their behaviors, the story that we're telling ourselves, we have that increased cognitive load. Let's remember, you're taking in more data than other people are. For whatever reason, they've muted or tuned out to a lot of these energetic sources. So, because you have this empathy still ability within you, you're accessing their essence, the true potential of who they could be. You see their personality, you see their behaviors of how they're interacting, the story that they're telling you, the story that you're telling yourself about them to try to connect these dots that don't necessarily make sense in the moment. And remember, all of that data that's coming in, that information you have available to you, is increasing your cognitive load. And this is where we can get a lot of drain or a lot of confusion that's going to keep you second guessing yourself. So when it comes to people, we really need to understand the difference between essence and personality, and what standards we're committing to, what are our non-negotiables. And from there, we can really start to make some more sovereign-oriented decision-making that's going to support you and your success style. So for the exercises in this module, what we're going to be working on is identifying essence, your own essence as well as someone else's essence. And we need to also do a quick recap then on what empathic internalization is. So remember from our last lessons as well, an empath, you're feeling with someone. We have our spectrum of care to pay attention to here, and we know how to identify actions that we're carrying out, empathic actions, and how they fit onto that scale. But when it comes to these more subtle levels of energy, we need to be concerned about empathic internalization. Remember, the teaching of internalization can lead to enmeshment, where things come together. They mesh together. And with these subtle energies, they're meshing together in your body. So the chakra system was our structure for this and how these can enter. The chakras have certain frequencies. You're internalizing someone's emotion or subtle energy of essence through these different frequency channels in the body that overlap with the glands and neural clusters or centers that process these biochemical emotions. So the concept of picking up on someone's essence or the energy of an environment, for an empath, you feel emotions deeply. This is not a fake woo-woo space. You can physically internalize the energy of someone's essence by these avenues if you're not aware of where this information or energy is coming from. So as we move into understanding someone's essence, our own essence, and creating boundaries around this, we need to have that reminder of the structures that we are working within. So in empathic internalization is an emotional enmeshment. If we don't identify these sources and the boundaries that we're going to hold for ourselves, you can get into emotional entanglement. And in some more serious levels of this, like an abusive scenario, you can get into emotional entrapment, where you start to lose sight of your own essence and somebody else is impressing upon you a personality, and then it becomes your identity. So we're going to start to pull this apart a little bit here in the exercises at the end of this module. We needed to recap and pull together our previous lessons so that this really starts to cement in what the goal is and the structures behind it so that we can trust these exercises that we're going to be doing. Understanding the difference and the source between essence and personality is going to allow you to decide which one to trust more, because you have essence and personality as well. We want to understand those for you and where your standards and boundaries are so that you can become someone that you trust more. That's the goal here. And then we're going to look at other people as well. We are going to use an empathic survey to figure out where these different intrusions are happening or where we might need to strengthen some of our standards and boundaries. We're going to do this in two different parts, and we're going to start with an exercise called intuitive essence. Now, this is when you're going to look at other people. Think of situations that you've been in where you had a felt knowing about someone, and use this real life example or look for one in the next couple days that you can use in reflection to do this intuitive exercise. You want to be able to start practicing separating out someone's essence from their personality. The second exercise for this lesson is your essence. We're going to look at you. So, you want to look at who you had to be loved. Who did you have to be to get approval or acceptance? Where are we putting on personalities within our day, whether it's within our personal or professional life? And then we want to look at, are there boundaries within these personalities that aren't serving us, and how we might want to change those so that it honors your authentic expression and essence, but ultimately your authentic success. When we step more into our essence is when we get closer to those flow states or our higher level of consciousness. Remember, essence is our soul level potential. So both of these exercises are a part of this empathic survey to start us getting familiar with sensing the difference between essence and personality so that you can take the time to get to root cause corrective spaces within boundaries and stepping more into your authentic expression and understanding when somebody isn't truly aligned in expressing their authenticity that is more attuned with essence. And that is going to allow you to really start to create some discernment with these energetic information sources that you have access to about people. So this isn't surface level type of exercises. This isn't surface level types of healing. When we start to do this level of reflection on ourselves, this is deep healing. So do not rush these exercises. And if you get stuck, please reach out. Also, let me know what breakthroughs you had in the feedback forms below, and let us know any small wins you had as well. This is where some of these deeper levels of energetic blocks or drains that we're experiencing with our own energy bodies can really start to come forward. So take your time with this exercise. Remember, you're a student. If we have to try something new 3 or 4 times, that's fine. You're a student. You're learning and practicing a new skill here. If it's taking you longer than that 3 to 4 days, I am here to save you time. Please reach out through the available channels, whether that's the chat spaces or a follow-up email, or if you're more comfortable with that feedback form. I've provided multiple ways for you to reach out on purpose, given your time constraints or your comfort level with how you'd like to interact. Regardless, um, regardless of all of that, this is a self-trust building exercise, and I am really proud of you for stepping forward into a place of self-development, especially in a place of empathy. Empathy, intuition, psychic abilities, these things have been shamed for a really long time. And especially if you're in the United States, you're an American, or you're growing up within the United States, there are a lot of reasons to tune out and to numb out to modern day life within the United States and in this digital era. So I am very proud of you for keeping these abilities intact and online. So with that, head over to exercise 1 to start practicing picking up on other people's essence from personality, and then into exercise 2 to start exploring your own essence and personality. Thanks for being here. I am glad you're here, and we'll see you in the next one. Thanks.